I grew up in various homes, and my so-called caregivers were always really touchy-feely. I didn't know what it was like to go without being unwantedly touched when I was younger, and I didn't find out until after I left home and lived on my own for, I think, it was just a couple months that I was really on my own as far as like actually having my own room, because then I had to live with roommates and I was being unwantedly touched again by one in particular who knew I didn't want him touching me, but he did anyway. And it was a cycle that I couldn't break because I had to live there, and he was touching me, and I would always feel so dirty when he touched me that I'd want to immediately wash myself, but then I wouldn't wash myself because then I'd be more appealing and he would touch me more. So it was just all around horrible, and I didn't know what to do. So I left that situation, was in a really toxic relationship that turned into a really toxic marriage, and I had my kids. It was 2 C-sections that were really close together. My first 2 C-sections were 10 months apart. So I was in a really hard recovery and just didn't care at that point, while I was recovering. I didn't care what anyone thought. I may have had some PPD. I wasn't diagnosed, but then I really didn't want to be touched. And fortunately, there was no one really touching me except my partner. But we won't go into that. So, I mean, like I said, it was toxic. I don't think there's anything else to say. But it started with those C-sections. That's how I realized, while healing, that because I was so aggressive in not letting people touch me, I started to see how much cleaner I felt when I would go long stretches without being touched. So it predates even COVID, even though during COVID, I really didn't want to be touched by anyone. But I was, unfortunately, touched by an annoying fat bitch. And at least, with her, I can be sure she won't do it again. Thank Christ. Besides that, I just feel so much cleaner when I'm not being unwantedly touched. I honestly just feel free and, like I'm not being soiled. So I have to wash myself less, and washing is kind of a ritual to me, so it takes a while. I mean, I have to use all kinds of cleansers and stuff, face washes,